I'm joined now by Maritime Pro Stock Tour points leader Cory Hall to talk about his season to date, and certainly been a busy one. You have 6 wins through 8 races, your other finishes being 8th and 17th place. Your wins included the prestigious IWK 250 at Riverside International Speedway and this past Saturday's race at Oyster Bed Speedway. So how would you describe your season so far in the Pro Stock Tour?
Yeah, I mean it's been exceptional. We kind of hit the ground running better than we even really expected, and we didn't plan on running full time. So then once we won the first three, it was hard to not keep going, right? So we decided to commit to running full time as long as we were still leading the points, and then we got taken out in Riverside and got a bunch of damage and just limped it home and finished eighth in that one race. And then the other one, we had a battery fail and ended up 17th. So two bad runs, but then the rest of them have been exceptional.
Yeah, I guess it's definitely easy to run for the championship there when you have some momentum on your side. And for the IWK 250 being one of those sort of marquee events, sometimes you get some different visiting drivers for that one as well. So, how did it feel to win the IWK 250, and where does that sort of rank on your list of racing accomplishments?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's got to be at the top. It's such a prestigious event, and it's one that before I even really got into stock car racing as a kid, I was down getting the NASCAR signatures and talking to the drivers and doing the whole deal and watching the race. And then we're very fortunate enough this year to be able to race it. So that meant a lot. And then to win it in our first attempt was something that I never really even dreamt of. So very fortunate and just quite quite happy to win that one. So it meant a lot.
Your most recent win makes it for this season at Oyster Bed Speedway, where you also returned for a couple of SLMS series starts. So, what you like most about that PEI track?
Yeah, it's just unique with the two different corners, and it just especially 3 and 4, it really fits my driving style. And from the first time we went there, we were able to win that race in 2022 with the Pro Stock Tour, and then 2023 we had exceptional cars and just never was able to complete it. And then then from then on, we've kind of been on a spree of winning over there. So I think that makes 6 in a row. But yeah, I just really love the track, but I love the facility and the people and the atmosphere. The crowd's always packed, and the bleachers are full right front to back and wrapped all around. So that's it's really cool, and it's quite the electric place once it's race time.
So, yeah, so you raced there, a few times this year and returning to that SLMS series where you lost the championship on a tiebreaker to Ashton Tucker last season. You battled with him the last 2 years in that series, and now here you are battling again in the Maritime Pro Stock Tour where he's finished runner-up 4 times and third place twice in those races that you won. So, what is it like battling with Ashton on such a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean, I love racing with him. Yeah, we always race clean and with a lot of respect, and it's enjoyable when you can do that. And you're racing against one of the best talents in the Maritimes. So, last year he got me pretty well all the races that I ran except for the two PEI races and the Mike Stevens. So, we were always trailing and just looking for more and trying to figure out, how he's able to maintain his car and preserve his tires and be there on a long run, and the way he approaches his races. So, went to work over the winter and was able to race a super late model down in the States. And I feel like it just helped me a lot to understand tire conservation, the tire, and kind of where you're distributing heat on which tire and how much, and trying not to abuse anything too much.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting point there, how you started the season racing south of the border. So a little bit of extra seat time in that super late model. entering the season here in Canada. And even though you have mostly starts here in the Maritime Pro Stock Tour, similar cars. So how did that extra seat time sort of help you out entering the Canadian portion of your schedule?
Yeah, it just helped learn. When you're down there, obviously, again, you're racing at the best of the best. So we had a strong showing down in New Smyrna, and we were able to finish third in that ASA race and won one of the New Smyrna races. So kind of builds your confidence in racing down there. Those races were big, built motors and running, 600 horsepower. And then around here, it's actually more of a pro late model, despite being called a super late model. We're running 400, 440 horsepower motors. Um, so to have the more and then go back to less, it just, kind of made it a little bit easier of knowing what I was doing.
Yeah, so that's interesting points there for sure. And as you mentioned, sort of the pro late model, super late model, a bit of difference there with the engine, with the crate engine and the pro late. So I guess how would you sort of compare those two cars as far as do you have like any favorite between the both of them?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I love racing the super late model. Once it was my first time down there this year running one, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just to have a little bit more under the hood to really move the car around and drive it, and it's harder to drive, and I enjoyed that. But we come back here, and our tracks are pretty wore out, so the grip level to power is not significantly different, I don't think, and with the tire we run on. So you're still fighting the car, and especially on a long run. So it all just kind of helped elevate my experience and my knowledge on driving.
And while you've been mostly here racing in Canada now over the summer, you also competed for the second time in the Oxford 250, a big super late model race down in New England. You finished ninth in that event. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was truly amazing. I'm always very fortunate to have the Wharfs allow me to run their car, and they're there helping the whole weekend. So it's a really cool deal. The event is amazing, and it's just the coolest thing that I think I've done all year, just to be down there. There's a lot of cars, and there's a lot of good runners down there, and we don't get to race down there as much as we'd like to. So it's a bit of a eye-opening experience. And then the race itself, I mean, it's just chaotic, right? You're constantly lap cars are moving you out of the way, or you're falling back or going forward, different tires, different strategies, and you're just constantly racing the whole race. And we had a left rear tire issue the whole first 3 quarters of the race, and we were putting our four tires on for the end and starting driving forward, and then we end up getting damage coming through the field. Just accidents happen, right? And but I feel like it just keeps making me better. All that racing and you're three wide and just back and forth, so you just stay sharp that way.
And now, as we approach sort of the late part in the season, looking ahead, you have just a 10-point lead over Ashton Tucker with two races to go in the Maritime Pro Stock Tour season. Scotia Speed World on September 20th and Petty International Raceway on October 4th. What is your mindset entering these last two events of the season?
Yeah, just to keep trying to win races, right? So it's an easy way to score points, and that's kind of been our mindset. Is the more we can win, it can make up for the bad days, right? So if we can get through the 200 with a solid finish, and hopefully the goal would be to grow the points lead and get another win, and then just kind of hopefully coast to the petty one and just go without issues. So obviously, there you never know. We could be behind again after Scotia. Hopefully, that doesn't happen, and then we're not trying to dig ourselves out of a hole. But yeah, just try to keep getting those points and keep racking it up.
All right, Cory Hall, points leader in the Maritime Pro Stock Tour. Thank you for speaking with me and good luck as your season continues.
Thank you very much.